Hi, my name is Ruby Elion. I am 23 years old, and I am from San Marcos, Texas.
And do you live here now in Austin?
I do not, but I am looking to relocate once my lease is up.
Oh, so San Marcos, are you at Texas State University? Or were you?
No, I live with all the college students, but no, it was just cheap living over there. So
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I am a medical esthetician at a spa in Kyle.
What do you bring in on a yearly basis?
Yearly?
Yeah. Also, make sure that you're subscribed, as one of the first 50,000 subscribers here will win $1,000.
Not quite sure. Probably a little bit under 30K.
Oh, under 30K?
A little bit.
Well,
monthly, I don't really have like the whole set number. I don't think of things in that grand, but like I make around like
wait, is it hourly?
2K a month. It is. I go based off commission, tips, and hourly. So there's 3 different.
Okay, forgive my ignorance. Apparently, I just don't know what this position does. What do you do?
Okay. So do you know what an esthetician is?
I guess not.
Oh, okay. Well, to give a ballpark, we deal with skin, waxing, all the good stuff there, tinting, whatnot. But when you're a medical esthetician, it kind of jumps a little bit further to doing like resurfacing treatment, like medical grade peels, things of that nature, to like really alter the texture of the face. We do body treatments as well. You can get into blades.
So you could make my face look pretty? That's
yes,
what you're saying?
Essentially.
Oh, okay.
I can change whatever you want about your face, pretty much.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So yeah, a little bit more well off than just a regular esthetician, but not quite like a nurse practitioner or anything like that.
So $30,000 a year or less then. Wait, what's your hourly wage?
Hourly is 29.
How many hours a week do you work?
Give or take. It depends on appointment basis, but usually I'll work around 30 something hours. It's a full-time job, but it's not quite the full-time hours.
How does that make sense?
It's very hard to kind of explain. So it's set up in a way that I am working as many hours as I would like to work. When I have appointments. When I don't have appointments, obviously I'm not being paid. I'm not being paid to just sit there, essentially, the way other jobs might be.
Well, if you worked 30 hours a week every single week for the 52 weeks of the year.
It's not consistent.
Then what is it on average? Because that would be $45,000 a year.
Give or take. Clear. It's a give or take. Like recently in
but you think it's
August,
less than
September,
30,000?
I would imagine. It's like around 2K a month.
But then you said there's commission too, so you're working even less hours if there's commission on top of that, and that's only equaling less than $30,000.
For sales, which usually will round out to about $200, $300 extra dollars on the 2 paycheck. When I say I'm so like not money savvy, I'm very not money savvy. But yeah, so like in August, September, we kind of just went through like a lull period where we were not getting very much hours at all. We were coming and doing trainings just to kind of get the time by. But recently, like in this last month with the holidays, everything's picking back up. So I can expect to see a much higher paycheck than I was.
Okay, so it ebbs and flows. But
yeah,
on
it's
average, less than 30 a year.
Yeah, I would imagine. I have not quite been in my job for a full year.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes. Well, so it's actually coming up in December.
What were you doing before? Because that number scares me.
Before, I was just going to school. I was not employed at all.
Okay, and did you graduate?
Yes.
Okay, where'd you go?
Ogle, San Antonio.
All right, what was your degree in?
It was a trade school, so I got my aesthetics license.
Okay, and that goes directly into this? Mm-hmm. Is there something else you can be doing that makes more money? Because this is so little for the area, even though I know San Marcos is cheaper, but still.
I mean, I feel very comfortable in what
Really?
Honestly, I don't have very much. My rent payment's about $600-ish. Car payment's $300 something.
Car payment, all right. Car payment. We'll have to get into that.
That was one of the things I meant to send, but I could not, for the life of me. USAA would not give it up.
So how would you describe your financial situation then, overall?
For where I'm at, I feel really comfortable with it. I never feel like I'm struggling per se to like get food or basic necessities. I have like extra money to buy clothes or different things that I like. Mm-hmm. I just feel like I could be doing better in the sense. Like, I live currently with like 4 other girls in like a house. I would like to have my own space, be doing my own thing, as this is my career. So I would like to progress. So
this is the career you want to stick with?
Pretty much, yeah. Besides entertainment and
does
all
the pay
extra
go
stuff.
up?
It does, as long as you have client retention.
So commission is what we're talking. But
commission or based on the type of treatment that I do. So like given like a brow wax won't pay as much as doing like a medical grade peel. That a medical grade peel's commission could be about $40, $60, whereas a brow wax will be like $5. So depending on which treatments I'm doing and how much of them I'm doing, that also influences how much money I'm making.
What about your financial future? You feel you're prepared for that? You think about it?
In terms of like retirement and whatnot, no. I don't know anything about like investments, 401ks, all of that goodness. I'm not quite sure if I'm really covered per se in my job with that. Of course, that's definitely something I would like to know a little bit more about.
Okay. Well, we might talk about that. Are you paid biweekly, semi-monthly? What is it?
Biweekly.
Okay. Because there were 3 paychecks in this one, so this was just one of those rare times where it was 3 paychecks within 30 days.
I guess.
Yeah. Which happens a couple times a year.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean, I get paid, every other Friday.
Let's see. $6.30 is the pay every other Friday. So that's scary low, I think.
$6.30.
Yeah, $6.30 was the pay. Oh, sorry. Nope. I was I was looking at the wrong thing. I apologize. Pay $8.93.
$8.90. And yes, those were very low. Those were definitely the struggle gaps, especially.
So that includes commission. That's not just base.
Yeah, in these past 2 months, it was definitely a little struggle, and I went on a trip, so that also put a dent in what was going on. But before that, I was making a lot more.
There was one that was a little higher at $9.35. A little higher. Okay, what was it looking at like when it was a little higher?
Average like $1,200.
Okay, so we'll say you make like $1,000 on average. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be $26,000 a year.
A little bit under.
Under that?
No. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
When I originally said.
That's only
a little bit under 30.
2,000. Is that? Are you W-2 or contract?
W-2.
Okay, so taxes are automatically being taken beforehand?
Yes.
Good. So you are living on post-taxes $2,166 a month.
Is that low? I don't feel...
If you lived in this city, yes.
Oh, yes, I know I can't afford all
is okay, but you live with a lot of people because your rent is 28% of your take-home. It's under 30. I'm cool with that. It's almost at that cusp, but you're also sacrificing because you're living with a lot of people. If you got your own place, I don't think you could afford your own place with this. And your car is almost 15% of your take-home on a monthly basis. That kind of sucks. 15% of your money automatically goes away to paying for a car. Yeah. So we'll definitely talk about those. But let's go through your checking account. So good news. Started with $2,541 and you actually ended with a higher $3,706. $3,184 came in, $2,024 out. Where do you think your money goes?
Definitely to food. I would say I'm pretty good with groceries. Like, I don't let things waste. I use everything up. But going out and eating and just going and doing stuff.
Yep.
And gas, especially lots of gas.
Yes, putting miles on this car. Why so much gas?
Well, I live right smack dab in the middle of San Marcos. My work is in Kyle. A lot of the acting I do is up in Austin. My boyfriend is in San Antonio, and my family's in New Braunfels. So I'm going all over this little...
Jeez.
this little road.
Okay, yeah. That is a lot of driving. But let's look here. So, yes, there was a lot of gas here. I didn't even mark them, but just all these blue X's are like, what's going on here? So, first of all, you're doing some Do you have any PayPal debt? Do you have like PayPal credit card or something like that?
Nope. I
Okay,
have zero
so-
credit card debt.
There were some PayPal transfers. I was probably paying through some things. PayPal was maybe the payment system that was being used. Pakistan, that's gas. So you immediately start with gas, but then you do Amazon and Take 5 and the PayPal. Lots of pirate ship postage. That's throughout. And a United Express, Brumez store, Squatch store, Bliss, Boulder, Colorado. That must have been your travel. And McDonald's. And there's an Afterpay. We'll talk about that. I'm curious. ATM withdrawal, $63. Have no idea where that was spent. Crystal Summit Specialty Shop, which was $10.88. And then Pueblo Mart for $58. That was an ATM withdrawal. Again, we have no idea where that went. There was transfer to loan. This must be the car loan. $357. So that wasn't 300 flat. It was $357. And going to Subway, pirate ship postage again, McDonald's, Dutch Bros, and other Afterpay, Cash Apping out $239. Simple Bills, I have no idea what that was, but that was $40.88. And then pirate ship postage again. Why so many pirate ship postage?
I have a Depop store.
Okay. Does that make money?
A little bit. It's not been so great because I haven't been on top of it, but I think I've made over, $500 in total off of just doing that. But of course, that has been
$500 over what time period?
I would not be able to answer quite a bit. Like I said, I've been very on and off with it. If I'm consistent, then yeah, it makes money. If not, then it's dead.
And we have the Afterpay. What is that?
That was probably just some online clothes I bought and just decided to do Afterpay.
Do you finance a lot of things like that?
No, because I don't quite buy a lot of clothes online. I hate that process. I'd rather buy them in store way more because I can see if they fit or not.
Well, even if you buy online, like, why are you financing?
Because I just don't like seeing the number drop in my bank account.
You still have to pay it.
I know, but it's over like little smaller. I don't know. It's just not as like a shock.
Is it interest free or are they charging interest?
Interest free.
Okay, so interest free unless you miss a payment. And do you ever miss payments or anything like that?
No, I set them up to be automatic.
Okay.
Any recurring
Little
payment
risky,
I do
but yeah,
is
and
always automatic.
what is the Sample Bills Corp for 40?
Those are my utilities.
Okay, that's fine. And you cash apped out $239. That's a lot of money.
That was receiving. Those are
It's a debit, not a credit. That left.
Oh yeah, I added that. That was paying off the whole of the trip to Colorado.
So what was
So
this
pretty much
Colorado
all
trip?
of that you mentioned, like ATM, Pueblo Mart, all of that was just gift shops and different little hop around things in Colorado.
Okay. Well, good news. Again, you ended with more money than came in. So that is a positive. We can go off of that, and then as we create your financial picture, we can figure that out. Now, this Colorado trip, what was the trip for? Just fun?
It was my boyfriend's mother's birthday, and she wanted to go to Colorado. And as a side thing, she invited me and a couple of our friends, and we all went up there for about a week.
Now, you also have savings. Bummer of a savings for a few reasons. Well, the happy part, I'm happy with the $3,547 that's in there. Happy with that, I guess. It's a good start. It's not a fully fledged emergency fund or anything like that, but it's a good start. What I don't like, no money was added.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done anything with the savings.
And what I extra don't like is you're gaining like 9 cents.
Yeah.
Like I would rather this be in a high yield where you're getting like 3% now.
The interest, yeah.
Yeah. So what is the interest on this? Like pretty much nothing, right? So I would move that to a high yield.
I definitely would. I just don't understand any of it or like where you'd even get that.
Oh, okay. Well, you just Google high yield savings and.
Okay.
But I mean, I can send a couple links your way as well. $3,547. What's the intention behind this?
So before I went to school and I moved a job, I was working in Marble Falls where I was making $30K annually just being a beverage cart girl, which was stupid money for an 18-year-old to be having. So my dad thought it was wise to just take a big chunk of everything I was making and putting it into a savings account. And that's essentially where that is. But of course, once he stopped doing that, purposely, I kind of just fell off.
Oh, why? So how long has it been like this?
A few years.
Oh, wow.
It's definitely stayed at that number for a few years.
Why haven't you been trying to grow it? I'm glad it hasn't decreased, but...
I felt like my money is like small as is in the checking account, and I don't feel like I need, like, I don't know, saying it out loud now sounds stupid, but I just don't feel like, I feel like I need all the dollars that I have in the checking account to go towards things rather than...
Go towards what?
Things like my car payment, rent payment, just like in case something were to happen. I feel like that's almost like, oh, well, my money's there, like I can have it right there.
So you're talking about an emergency fund.
Yeah.
So risky thing about that, when an emergency fund is in your spending pile, emergency funds tend to get spent.
Yeah.
So they should be somewhere where you're not touching, very separate. And then yes, it might take a day to transfer, maybe 2 days depending on the account, but you definitely always want to have a little bit of fluff in the checking account. I do agree with that. But this, just sitting over here like this, I don't think you need more than $2,000 in your checking account. And you have $3,706 in there. I mean, maybe $3,000 if that makes you feel more comfortable, but I don't think you need more than that. So the intention behind this $3,547 is what? Just in case?
Just because it's there, and I don't feel a need to spend it. And I think the reason why it's so like awkward for me to have that low of an amount of money in my checking, like I like stressed when I see the money in the checking account go down. So like when it was at that 2,000, that was stressing me out, because at one point right before I actually like moved out and had all these expenditures, it was sitting at like 15K, 16. So like that's a really small number compared to what I was looking at. So I don't know. It stresses me out, but it wasn't realistic money to be having in the checking account in the first place. Sure.
Now your annual percentage yield is 0.01%. Let's get that to 3%. Big difference. Oof, yeah. Okay. So do you have before we get into the debts, any money anywhere else?
Technically, and you wouldn't really call it that, but I do trust. I do have $3,000 something that my family owes me because of some stuff my mom did.
What'd she do?
So I had like around 3,000. I think it was 600-ish, but I spent like the 600 to get new tires on another car. Of cash kind of laying around my room back when I was like 18, 19, and she got upset because I wouldn't put it in the bank, so she took it all. Without letting me know.
$3,000?
Yeah, she took $3,000 in cash, and she's not paid it back.
Does she know she owes this?
Yes, but I can't really go to her. I have to go to my dad.
Why?
Because she's kind of problematic, and she don't want to give it back.
That's kind of gross.
Yeah, no, I know. But you can't get rid of your mom. But my dad is a lot more...
Why hasn't he then?
They don't have the greatest spending habits. My dad tries to buy things to make her happy.
Okay, so they literally stole money from you.
Yeah,
to be clear.
No, I recognize that is what happened, but I mean, I can't like call the police on them.
Like half of, well, okay. I don't want to ruin a relationship with your family. But
I've been there. Yeah, I'm already in the healing process. It is a done. Can't get rid of them.
Well, how's your relationship with them?
It's good. I'm actually going over there tonight to celebrate my birthday, whatnot. But yeah, that is definitely a thorn because it keeps being like, oh yeah, we'll get to it, and then.
Because you could always take them to court, but
I'm not going to go that far.
I don't want to ruin the relationship. Like if the relationship was already strained because who steals from their kid? That's crazy.
If we were already on the fritz, I would be like, yo.
All right, this conversation actually needs to happen though, because I could double your savings. We might not talk about giving you the $3,000 in a full package, maybe a payment plan or something like that. Something like $500 a month for 6 months. Like, does that seem reasonable? You think that's something they could do?
I think so. They're really hard to manage because they're also trying to move right now, and it's like.
But again, stolen money.
Exactly.
And do they acknowledge that they owe this?
My dad does, yes. My mom, anytime I bring it up, she gets very upset.
Upset? How so?
She has the notion of like hold it, and it's generational. It's just passed down. But
How old
she's
is
got
she?
the whole 44.
So she's just Gen X. I mean,
Oh yeah, but you know how they can be. But now she has the, because I had to live with them for a little bit when I came back from San Antonio because I couldn't afford my apartment I was living in. I had to move back in with them, and she holds it over my head like, oh, we did so much. Like, where's all the like money and groceries that you ate and like.
okay, was there
whatnot.
an agreed upon thing moving in that you would be
Nope.
paying, or $3,000 would go towards that?
No,
Okay,
and
then
I exactly. I mean, that's what I've tried to say, but it's just better to deal with my dad than it is because she's literally so unreasonable at sometimes. And I did pay groceries.
That's toxic.
Oh, I know it. I know it. But
You need to have a conversation with your dad as soon as possible because one, you don't make that much money. Two, we will talk about what we want to do with this money, and that will be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So a payment plan could help. Mm-hmm. That'd be good. I mean, at a minimum, that payment plan would take care of your car payment and a little more for 6 months. That'd be fantastic. Whatever's reasonable that doesn't strain the relationship, that gets you the money back. Maybe even $250 for a year. I don't want to stretch it that long, but with whatever their situation is, without straining the relationship, if that's what it takes, where it doesn't hurt as much, doesn't make them feel like they're bleeding or something like that, then that might be a path. Mm-hmm. Now, do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, it's just a matter of me like really putting my foot down and being like, no, this needs to happen like right now.
Are you a put your foot down kind of person? Are you confrontational?
No, I am not. But I have been getting better at it. It's just a process. I have always had a lot of anxiety growing up. So yeah, that's definitely a hurdle I have to like, especially when it comes to my parents who are both very headstrong and stubborn in nature.
Okay. Do you have Credit Karma?
No, I do not.
Let's get you to download it.
Okie doke. Is that like an app on the phone?
Alrighty. Hey, not too bad. 23-year-old. 738 credit score. Very good.
I'm proud of that.
Did you know?
I knew that it was high because of my parents freaking out about how low my interest rate was when I got my car.
Oh, well, that's good to know. We'll talk about that in a second. Payment history, 100% good. Credit card usage, 0. Do you have a credit card?
I do. I just don't use it. I would like to get one with rewards or some kind of cashback because the one I was using was just to build credit.
City Double Cash. That's what I like. It was
City
2% on everything. So, and you should be able to qualify for this. The only thing that's really holding you back is your credit age is really low, and then you just don't have a diversity of credit accounts. You have just kind of low credit accounts, but that's low impact, and then medium impact credit age for sure. But everything that's the most important, you're doing very well on. So very good. Now, you do have 3 hard inquiries. So what have you applied for? Mercedes-Benz. Auto finance. Well, that should count only once because it's under the same category. And then JCPenney. Is that your credit card?
Nope. That might have been a time that I stupidly just applied for the rewards card and then I never used the actual card.
Oh, well, that is a card. You might want to make sure that doesn't close. Go use it once every quarter.
I have no idea where. I would guess I would have to order a new card. I don't even remember getting a card.
Yeah. Well, let's see if it's open. It is. So I would just go if you need to re-up your socks, just go to JCPenney, just swap it. I'm serious. Just so it doesn't close.
Okay. Is there a way to manually everyone's happy close the account or?
Huh?
Is there a way to get rid of the card or?
That will hurt your credit score if you care about that.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you care about your credit score, then that's what I would do. If you really don't care, then yeah, you can just close it.
Okay.
That's fine. Before I knew anything about credit cards or anything like that, before I knew anything about personal finance, we're talking a decade ago, I was in some pretty bad credit card debt. But once I finally cleaned it up, which, I worked very hard to do, and that was good. I was I'm just going to close this credit card because I'm never going to use it again because it's not the credit cards that I like. It doesn't give me good rewards. So stupid. I didn't know anything about that because I cared about my credit score, still do. And yeah, it hurt my credit score.
You took a hit.
Pretty rough. Yeah. So that was a bummer. But you do have a car loan. This car loan has $13,457 remaining. You paid off 32% of the loan. Nice. So is this 3-year loan? How long is this loan? How long have you been doing it?
A few months.
Oh, did you put a lot down?
I did. I put like 5,000 down,
Very
and
good.
then later on, I put another 5,000 towards it.
Oh,
Those
that
payments
must have
for
been what did
something.
it. Why'd you put that other 5,000 towards it?
Because I thought, the faster you pay it off, the better.
Heck yeah. I mean, yeah. It is a 60-month term.
Okay.
So that kind of sucks. I wish it was 3 years. But, I mean, the payment history that you've been doing on it, good. You just put an extra 5 towards it, great. Because it was pretty much $20,000 and you brought it down to $13,500. So good stuff there. What I'm curious about is what is this interest rate?
Ooh, it was 3 point something.
3 point something. That's good enough. But it's below 4%. So this is interesting. Okay, and this is your only debt. You don't have student loans.
Mm-mm. I paid my school off in full. I had lots of
Beautiful.
savings from my first job.
How much did you have saved up, and then you cash flowed?
Like I said, I had pretty much 30K. And then
That's incredible.
school was, like 13K and cars, whatnot. Various living. A lot of it went when I was living in San Antonio. My apartment was really expensive.
Yeah,
And I sat on it a little bit too long.
but you killed that. So really, what we have here are a couple things that I would want to turn around. One, you have car debt. It's a questionable car debt because the interest rate is so low. I don't know the worth of the car. What is the car, actually?
It's a 2020 Ford Fusion.
2024?
Ford Fusion.
Oh, 2020. Ford
Yeah.
Fusion. Like basic package or what? Did you upgrade anything?
No, the car. Well, I wouldn't really call those upgrades. It was a used car on a Mercedes lot, and we were just like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing 2020 Ford Fusions right around $20,000 right now. So good. You're certainly not underwater. We're good there. Cool. Even KBB, which is kind of undervaluing cars right now, has it at $20,000. So good. Car prices are coming down, but good. I'm glad. So, okay, that's one thing. Second thing, your emergency fund isn't really an emergency fund. We would want to have that. We'd want to clean that up. We'd want to figure that out. Number 3, parents owe you money. We'd want to clean that up. 4, you don't have any retirement. We'd want to clean that up. So those are my main things here. So let's talk about them. Well, number 1, the car. Mathematically speaking, I do non-official financial advice, mathematically speaking, instead of emotions. There's a few things that are interesting with cars. They do go down in value. I don't like taking leverage on assets that go down in value. But this interest rate is low. You have equity into the car that with your big 5,000 chunk you've put towards it down and then 5,000 towards the loan, I think you'll continue to remain some equity in case things get bad, meaning you could sell it if necessary. And insurance would give a decent payout. That would be good for you to pay off the car and then still have money left over. I think I would, non-official financial advice, if I were in your shoes, only pay the minimum monthly payment until it's paid off.
That's and then that tripped me up so bad because that's what my dad said to do. He was like, don't try and spin it off as much as you possibly can, like put the lowest in. And I was like, I've literally never heard that.
You can if you want
ask,
to, though. You
like,
can
which
if
is
you
better?
want to. It's certainly not even close to a bad thing if you do pay it off quicker. In fact, since the loan is 5 years, maybe I would figure out how much it costs on a monthly basis to pay it off in 3 years. So that might be something worth doing. That might be a good middle ground. So you do pay it off quicker, but you're not like aggressively going crazy to do it.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, that might be a good middle ground. It's still a very complicated one. One reason why I don't like people taking out debt for a car is, let's say they have $10,000, right? And they can put $2,000 towards the down payment of a car and then borrow the other $8,000 and then at like a 4% interest. And then they can invest the other $8,000 I forgot how much I said put down. Did I say put down 2?
2, yeah.
Okay, so they can invest the other $8,000 in like the S&P 500 and it'll gain like 10% a year on average. And that obviously makes more mathematical sense. Mm-hmm. But oftentimes humans, when we go and finance a car and we only have $10,000, we were to buy it in cash, we'd get a $10,000 car. But if we're going to put money down and then borrow some, maybe we'll just borrow to get a slightly more expensive car because that's not money really coming out of our pocket right now. So we'll put $2,000 down on a $15,000 car. Mm-hmm. So it leads people to get a more expensive car. So that's why I don't like it in general, because there's some psychology to play. But since you're already in this and it is where it is mathematically speaking, maybe just figure out what it costs to pay it off in 3 years and do that. That's what I would personally do. It is not advice. It's what I would do.
Gotcha.
Or in your shoes. Now, we already talked about the parent thing. Mm-hmm. So just get that money. Get that money. The other thing we talked, that your emergency fund's pretty low. And then the investing. So how do we combat this? One, you get the $3,000, so that relies on that. With where your rent is, with where your car payment is, I think we get you to $10,000. You get $10,000. You already have $6,500 because you will get that $3,000 back, not a choice. You need to get that back, $6,500. You put it into some high yield savings. You never touch it unless an emergency happens. Then you keep a fluff in your checking account of like $2,000, $3,000 if you want to. But anything above that,
goes into savings.
Well, it goes to, whatever our goals are at that time. Right now, we are trying to build this to an emergency fund, and we need to have an emergency fund. What I would do, because you don't bring in that much money, basically $2,000 a month, it's kind of scary for me, with $6,000 going to rent, $357 going to cars, I would create like a $300 grocery budget, and I would make your boyfriend pay for fun for a couple months and really try to throw like $1,000 at this to get it to $10,000 in like 3.5 months. I really would. It would be a sacrifice of, maybe work more side hustles as much as possible and bring in some extra money, because you can't start your financial future until you have an emergency fund. That is the base level that is necessary. Mm-hmm. So it's considered an emergency that you don't have this. So I would cut back on the fund, budget out what you're allowed to spend on groceries and gas, and then obviously your rent and car payments already budgeted out, and then utilities. Then what do you have remaining from those necessities in order to survive? You should take all that money and put it towards your emergency fund and just cut back on the fund for now. Mm-hmm. And if you do, your boyfriend's paying for it, your family's paying for it, that's fine. Just for a few months. It's worth it, I promise. Because once you have that $10,000 in an emergency fund, then boom, you're allowed to have fun again. You budget it out. You say, this is how much I'm allowed to spend on a monthly basis on fun. And then you have that fun, because we are going to need you to start investing about... I'm thinking of your pre-tax income. We can think of your post-tax, actually. On a monthly basis, a minimum $430 a month needs to start going towards different investment things. Mm-hmm. Likely maxing out your Roth IRA every year. And then after that, into like a brokerage or something like that. Well, we want to start getting this started. Mm-hmm. Because right now, you're not falling behind for people your age, but right now, for when you're retired, these are the absolute best years.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah. So we can't do that until you have an emergency fund. So the quicker you have your emergency fund, the quicker you can start doing this. And I think with where you spent your money, including on fun and trips, right now, I think you could put that percentage. It's 20% of your post-tax is how I did the math, by the way. I think you could do that $433 towards investments on a monthly basis, and that'll be a good starting point. Then I think you'll be good. The question just becomes, do you get the $3,000 from your parents? Because that immediately gets you closer to the $10,000. Do you sacrifice having fun for a few months so you can get your emergency funded as quick as possible? And then after that, do you then divvy up your budget in a correct way to put this minimum 20% of your post-tax towards investing?
Well, if I had the option, I would definitely like to get the $3,000 up front. It's a long time coming. I don't know if they spend that money or what the heck they're doing with it, but it needs to be coughed up, because the ultimatum was if you move out, that's when the money, we know you need to pay for it. But then they've come up with other pieces, so that needs to come. 430. That doesn't seem like a loss, like a huge number. That seems totally reasonable.
What about the emergency fund, sacrificing for a few months to get that?
I mean, I'm already pretty like, okay, so before this little interview, I was like determined. I'm like reading all the financial books and trying to like figure things out. I'm like determined to get into like real estate investing. So if this is what I need to do to set like the foundation for that in the future, then yeah, I mean, that's just the steps I need to take.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable.
Emergency fund is the basic foundation, is the concrete slab before you start building a house. You can't do anything until you have that.
Yeah.
So that's why it's considered an emergency, where you need to sacrifice in order to get it. You don't need to sacrifice like crazy in order to start saving up for a home and to start investing. You budget out, the accurate percentage to do that. But when you don't have an emergency fund, you freak out and you say, okay, I cut back on everything that's not necessary for me to survive in order to get that. Then once you have it, you're good. But I think you can have it in a few months. If you put your foot down. Yeah. Please have this conversation this week. I really would.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah.
It shocks me because I've always heard the emergency savings number as being so low compared to like what you're saying now with 10K. Like that's never been.
You've heard lower than that?
I've heard, well, I mean, not that I've delved too much into money or whatever. Like my dad had me on Dave Ramsey growing up. That's about it. But I've always heard the emergency, it's like a little, like $500. It's like not very big numbers at all.
Oh, our boy Dave does not say that. He says 3 to 6 months. 3 months would be lower than this. I think now that we live in a world where, pandemics can happen, let's just do 6.
Yeah.
Be a little more safe. So, especially since you're commission based, I think that 6 months is safer than 3. But no, he definitely does not say it's low.
I don't know if he said that or someone else said that, and I've just like stuck with it. But yeah.
No, we definitely don't want to do that. Let's get 6 months, and I think 10,000 will be comfortable for you. You'll build that up further as your rent or mortgage happens, as your monthly required expenses increase just with life. Then emergency fund goes to 15 to 20 to 25. So, but for now, I think 10 is healthy.
Okay.
What are you actually going to do?
Well, since I'm going to my parents today, I'll probably, after we're all fun and like things could potentially blow up and not be fun anymore, I'll have the conversation with him if he's there. And I'd really like to like set a budget, because I was like going to, at the start of December, really start like tracking and micromanaging every little thing I spend money on to see where exactly like what's going into groceries, what's going into fun, dumb stuff, what's going into gas, to like really be able to separate everything and see, okay, where do I need to cut back on? But I think once I do that, I'll definitely be able to figure out where that 433 needs to really come from.
Yeah.
Because I mean, me personally, I can sit here and be like, I don't feel like I spend that much on like fun extra stuff, but I mean, it adds up.
It's okay in hindsight to say, okay, this is where I spent my money on, but going forward, what we want to do is on a monthly basis, set out what is allowed to be sent on each category. And fun is not a category until you have an emergency fund. But yes, I think the 433, just because there was a lot of fun in this 30-day statement, but still ending with $1,000 more than you started with, you should be able to find that 433.
And it's funny, this is the one that we're going, because I've literally not even been on a trip. I can't remember the last trip like I went on, and it just happens that this is the one that it falls on. And
it ended up being fine. Now, you did get lucky because it was one of the rare months where you got 3 paychecks.
Yeah.
Though that's not every month, so yeah. Cool. Any final thoughts?
No. This has been insightful. I feel like I've stressed you out though with my numbers.
Trust me, this has not stressed me out. No, you're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well.
Oh, good.
Things to clean up, but doing pretty well.
Perfect.
For Ruby's Hammer financial score, again, like I said at the end, she's actually doing quite well, especially for 23 years old. Just some things to clean up. It's not her fault that her parents have stolen from her. It might be her fault that she hasn't put her foot down a little more, but obviously relationships, especially family relationships, very complicated. Sounds pretty toxic. She knows at least best how to navigate it based on her parents' personalities, but will she actually do it? I hope she does. I'm not going to ding any points for that because, again, it was stolen money, literally stolen. I will have to ding the car debt for the financial score. I will have to ding not having an emergency fund, and I will have to ding not having retirement started. But obviously, her age, just whether or not someone has retirement started, is definitely dependent on the person at 23 years old. But I will have to ding a couple things off that. But very, very simple cleanup here if she just kind of buckles down and figures some things out. So I'll give her a Hammer Financial score of 7 out of 10. Get that emergency fund up, start investing, and clean up that car mess maybe by making payments in 3 years. If you want to pay it off even earlier, even better. And then that'll get you to a 10 out of 10. Make sure you share this video with someone who you think might enjoy it, as it really does help this channel grow. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, where you can see some behind the scenes stuff. Subscribe and stick around for more. Thanks.